Good day, good folks. You are listening to Talk That Keeps You Woke. And with your awakening, we hope that you will take in the information and knowledge we provide. So make sure you like and subscribe while you hop on this ride as we inform, persuade, entertain, and engage in discussion. Welcome to Pot Liquor Podcast, which is knowledge to feed your soul. I make up one half of Pot Liquor. I go by Dr. A, the inquisitive one, a great debater, Mr. Slow Talker, a rhetorician, and an all-around nice guy, and a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. The other half of Pot Liquor is my homie, my dear friend for more than 30 years, Kim Parker Jackson Esquire, the legal one, Mrs. Creativity, never obnoxious, the gifted one, a terrific lady, and a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Well. What up? We are back and better than ever. How was your week, partner?
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. My week was good and I am well. And how about your week, Dr. A? How was your week?
It was good. It was the last week before spring break. So we are on spring break. So I am ecstatic about that. I get to my big prize or reward for myself is I get to go to the gym every day this week.
Oh, that sounds good.
I don't have to take any days off. I can stay in the gym for like 3 hours and not worry about getting out to get to work. So that's refreshing for me.
You're not going to actually do that though, are you?
Yeah, I do. I stay in. I do
That's
about
too long. 3 hours?
Yeah.
That's way too long to be in. I'm in and out within an hour. That's after an hour, you're in the gym too long. That's too much.
But I do cardio.
30 minutes on cardio and 30 minutes weightlifting. That's it. You don't need no
Now,
more
when
than
I
that.
have to go, I'm out in maybe 90 minutes to 2 hours. But when I don't have any place to go, then I do take my time and make sure I get in over an hour of cardio. And it takes me a good hour and a half to get my workout in, and then it's about a half an hour of cool down. You know, I go to the cafe and get a protein shake.
Oh yeah. I forgot you go to a fancy gym with all the trinkets and gadgets and
Yeah, I don't hate.
don't hate the player, hate the game.
Hate the game, yeah. All right. So as always, we start off with the wow for the week. And the wow is by the late Coretta Scott King. She said, hate is too great a burden to bear. It injures the hater more than it injures the hated. So I always say it takes a lot more to hate than it does to love. Hate takes a lot of energy out of you. And I think love gives you the energy. Hate is wasted time and wasted emotion. I definitely think that you should find it within yourself to forgive transgressions that happen against you, and take your time to reach out or be flexible or able enough to let that person reach out to you so you can resolve any differences. What say you, partner?
I agree wholeheartedly. You hit the nail on the head. The only thing that I would add is that imagine what people could do with that energy if they stop hating and just use that energy for something positive and redirect that energy to something positive. Imagine what we could accomplish. That's it.
I agree. I think we could accomplish a big deal. Like, hate doesn't resolve anything. It just makes tensions grow, and it makes relationships fester in the wrong direction. And growth for the world is always a unity thing. One country helping another instead of warring with another country, which
Mhm.
just leads to more death and destruction. So Stevie Wonder, one of my favorite artists, love is in need of love today.
Mhm.
And
I love
then
that
I
song.
think it was a Dionne Warwick sing what the world needs now is
It's
love.
love, sweet love.
Yeah.
Yep.
So those are two of my favorite songs that I like to listen to. So yeah, let's do away with hate and bring
More love. Less
bring
hate,
more.
more love.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree with that. Okay.
And let us move on.
Oh, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Yeah, what's going on? Oh, what's going on?
So Marvin wants to know what's going on, and we are going to tell him today. The first thing we're going to talk about is Donald Trump's immunity case. We didn't get a chance to get to it last week because we were talking about him being on the ballot in the Supreme Court. Spoke about that
On the ballot in Colorado,
in
right?
Colorado, but then other
It has
states,
implications for
Maine, and some other
Mhm.
places. So he can't
Right.
be held off the ballot in any state. So this one is the immunity case. I guess what I read, the claim Donald Trump is trying to make, he is too busy running the world, running the United States, to be worrying about these different investigations that have been thrusted upon him or put against him. And but and the rumblings from the Supreme Court were like, yeah, we're not trying to hear that. And they were talking about Trump, and then we're worrying about the subpoenas and the different documents. To me, Donald Trump is just trying to do the best he can to stay out of jail
Mhm.
or to be, even fined more. What say you?
So, okay, so we're talking about Donald Trump's immunity case, right?
Yeah.
So this is the one that stems from the January 6th insurrection, right? So he was indicted in August of 2023 on 4 felony counts arising out of that insurrection. And so special counsel Jack Smith um basically was prosecuting him for the attacks on the United States Capitol, and the 4 felony counts that he was charged with were conspiracy to defraud the United States, conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, obstruction of an attempt to obstruct an official proceeding, and conspiracy against the rights of citizens. So what happened with that was he claimed that, okay, so U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkin set a trial date for those felony counts, but Trump filed a motion to dismiss the case because he's arguing that he, as the president at that time of the insurrection,
Should be immune
should should be able to enjoy full immunity from
from
prosecution.
prosecution.
And he's saying he can't be prosecuted for his official acts as president, as if his inciting the insurrection was an
Yeah. Was an
official act.
official
I don't
act.
get
Right.
that. But he's saying a former president cannot be prosecuted unless he has first been impeached by the House and convicted by the Senate. Now we all know that he was impeached by the House, but we couldn't get the votes in the Senate for him to actually be convicted. So of course, Judge Chutkin, we talked about this in the past too. Tanya Chutkin basically denied his motion to dismiss and basically said he's not. Remember, she was like, "You're not king, okay? You were the president, and you do not have full immunity, especially for these criminal acts." And so then so the DC Circuit, which is above her court, she's U.S. District Court for DC. Above that court is the DC Circuit Court. They upheld her decision, and they said, "Yeah, we agree. He's not king. He is president, and he does not have full immunity, especially for criminal acts." So then, the DC Circuit said that the criminal case should proceed, not dismiss, but should proceed unless Trump appeals to the Supreme Court by February 12th. And guess what he did? Appealed to the Supreme Court by February 12th. And the Supreme Court said, yes, we're going to what they call grant certiorari, which is a fancy Latin term that means basically we call it granting cert. That basically just means, yes, we're going to hear the case. If Supreme Court decides to hear a case, that means they don't necessarily agree with the decision of the lower court. So now you're thinking, okay, they are going to question whether the president has full immunity for criminal acts. Like, this is are we seriously asking this question in this country? Whether the president has full immunity from criminal acts while he's in office? This is crazy to me.
I don't think they're going to rule and say that he has immunity towards criminal acts. I think if they hear the case, it gets prolonged, and then they're going to come up with some way to say, well, we can't hear it while he's in office or, running for president. So it'll be pushed back. So if he wins the presidency, then it will be 4 years before you hear any case about that. If he loses, then he's probably going to go to prison.
Well, I think that he's already won because this is a delay. So he's won. Yeah, it's going to be a delay.
But if he don't win,
it's going to happen before the election. But
if he don't win the election,
he's going to go to jail.
Yeah.
But I think he's rolling the dice. He's going to roll the dice.
Of course he is.
And he doesn't think he can lose and this is the epitome of white male privilege. If you ever wanted to see white male privilege,
well, he put the people on the court. So
right. This was the purpose of it. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah. So here's the thing. His lawyers argued before the DC Circuit, which is the one step before the Supreme Court. His lawyers argued when asked whether the president, if the president directs SEAL Team 6 to kill a political opponent, would he be immune or barred from prosecution? He could literally say, this person is my enemy. It wouldn't be Putin, but Putin is not his enemy. But, could he kill his political enemy and be immune from prosecution? And his lawyer said, yes. If he has not been charged and convicted of any crime, he cannot be criminally prosecuted for his acts while in office. So I think the Supreme Court may feel like they need to officially answer that particular question. But I mean, I think the DC Circuit clearly said he should not be immune from prosecution if he killed a political opponent while in office. And so the Supreme Court is going to revisit that. And we're going to hear the final word on that issue. So anyway, I would just say bottom line is he's already won because he's going to get the delay that's going to give him enough time to campaign and, run for office. And hopefully he feels as if he wins the election, he will not go to jail.
Right. We'll see
So
what
yeah.
happens. I'm still under the belief that Donald Trump is not going to come close to winning the presidency. I think
From
that
your mouth to God's
I
ears.
just think it's all media. Like he garners a lot of attention. I think people who really don't care about the media that much is going to go out. They're going to vote to make sure that he's not in office. Because,
I
like
hope
they
you're
said,
right. I really do.
if you don't vote, you're voting for Trump.
But what's even sadder is that the Republican Party could not produce anyone who could win the Republican nomination other than a convicted, well, not convicted. I wish I could call him a
Well,
convicted felon,
I
but
think that's
someone who's been charged with 91 counts.
I I don't think that's true. I think that no one wanted to run against the Trumpian like regime because it's a joke. You're going to get castigated, and people are afraid to vote against Donald Trump. He's being a bully,
No,
and
but they had like 9 people running. They had like
none of
9 people running, and the
none
last
of
person standing
none of
was
those none of
what's
those
her name?
not none of the Nikki Haley.
Nikki
None
Haley
of
was the
those
last.
9 were going to beat him. Right. It was all show to me. Maybe Nikki Haley was serious, but nobody really
But
thought
what
she was
I'm
going to.
trying to say to you though is that no one else could get the type of support that you would need to be the nominee. I mean, do you understand? Even without, let's put Trump aside. Let's just pretend like he wasn't even running. Nobody really got enough support. You understand what I'm saying? Where they could possibly win the nomination. So, in other words, there was not even a close second to Trump. There should at least have been a close second. That boggles my mind because that's sad that Trump is the best you could produce. This is
No,
crazy.
he's not the best you can produce. It's just like people didn't want to step out against him because of the power that was behind him, the
So
structure.
you think that they were faking like they wanted to run for president? You don't think these people really wanted to run for president?
I don't think either one of them thought they were going to win. I thought a lot of them were running to be vice president.
Okay.
I didn't think I don't know
They spent a lot of
in
money.
what world was Pence thinking he was going to win? In what world? You just was his vice president. You're running against him. He.
I mean, but historically, a vice president would be a very viable candidate.
Yeah,
You were vice president.
once the president that you're running, that you're vice president under, has concluded their 2 terms in the White House.
I guess. I guess.
I don't know. We're gonna follow this story closely as the election sneaks up upon us.
We'll be here before you know it.
Yep, it sure will.
Let us move on.
Okay. We're gonna speak about a topic to me, which is sort of sad. I know she said she didn't want anybody to feel sorry for her, but I wound up watching 2 Lifetime specials with about Wendy Williams. One was It's a Mess, Wendy Williams, It's a Mess, and the other one was Where is Wendy Williams? We're gonna focus on Where is Wendy Williams. Um, those who may not know, Wendy Williams was a very famous, iconic radio personality turned into television personality. Started um, at a little station, and she was big time in New York. And she made her bones by gossiping, spreading rumors, some true, some not true, and kind of like outing people, trying to out people when folks weren't coming out of the closet as homosexuals. Um, talking about husbands or wives cheating on their spouses, just little
Did
dirty
she
stuff.
break up families?
Yeah, I mean that's what was said. I
Mhm,
remember she had a conversation with Tretch from Naughty by Nature, and he says like, "What you doing could break up homes
mhm,
and things going on." And I remember her not really caring,
mhm,
because she was getting the ratings. Like people like messy stuff.
mhm.
Like everybody stays around for the after school. Excuse me.
Did she say 50 Cent was gay?
I never heard that.
Okay.
I know she always
DMX or somebody was
talked about Diddy, um,
oh, okay.
being and she had proof.
And it looks like she might turn out to be right with what's going on in the
Well,
news
she
lately.
had proof, but they wouldn't let her put it out. But my whole thing is like, I would ask Wendy, like, what business of that is yours? Like at the time.
Well, I mean, if that's what she did, like you said, that was her calling card. Like she gossiped and she talked about salacious topics like that. So that's why it's her business because that's what she does.
That's
I
bad.
guess that's what she would say. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, she would say that,
Yeah.
but you do it in the name of hurting people. Like you're hurting people that didn't do anything to you.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. So, do you think that a person a famous person or a person in the public eye, do you think it's fair game to discuss details about their life that they may have made public?
That they wanted us to discuss?
What I'm saying to you is that do you think it's fair for a famous person who has somehow, whether it's on social media or through an interview, when they have made details about their lives public, is it fair for people to discuss that?
Yes, but give me an example of what you're talking about.
If you're in the
Like you're
public
talking
eye,
about Jada Smith, what
okay,
Jada
this is what I'm
and
talking about. This is what I'm talking about. You are a famous person.
yeah.
So, therefore, anything that may happen in your life becomes newsworthy, technically. So, if you're a famous person and you're seen out at a public place and people take pictures of you out at a public place and you happen to maybe be with someone other than
Your
a
spouse.
person, a spouse or someone you're in a relationship with, and then someone like Wendy Williams discusses that and then speculates as to who that person is you're with, and then starts to go down a road to suggest that maybe you're having an affair, or maybe if it's someone of the same sex, maybe you are gay when at first you said you were heterosexual, or you portrayed an image of being a heterosexual person and it appears that you're in a homosexual relationship and people talk about that. Is that fair game? And I mean that's a question. Everybody,
I don't
because
think it's fair game because you're speculating. And so once you put stuff out into the airwaves, lies, become truths
but
in the
that's
public
not but
opinion.
you're
So
not saying it's a fact though. You're
it
speculating.
doesn't matter. You have a responsibility when you're on the air. That's why some things that I won't do here on the podcast if we don't have full information on it. Because speculating is talking about it, and your words are ruining people, especially if
So if you
there's no
say,
truth to it.
if you see somebody, say if you see 50 Cent out and he was married to, as far as you're concerned, he was
He was
he
married to woman A, and we saw him with woman B.
he's married to woman A, and then we see him hugged up with man B or whatever. You know what I mean? is it okay to say, well, I know he's married. I wonder why we have a picture of him out with a
What
man.
business,
Like,
what personal business of his of that life are we
I'm
right?
not defending what she did.
No,
I'm just
I'm no, you're not.
yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
asking the question like what right do we have? Now you're saying it, you're making it more public, but this is like word of mouth. She was getting some things from people that might have been a reliable source off the street.
Mhm.
Um, and they were telling her things. I
But see,
just
here's
don't
the
think
thing though. I think it's and this is why people like her get away with this kind of stuff is because it's for entertainment purposes and it's not making a a statement of fact. You're just
I
speculating and
understand.
talking about you understand what I'm
I'm
saying?
not
Like
talking about legal problems that she can get into trouble with. I'm just talking about from a
just like
sense
a
of
fairness
yes, just
perspective.
a human kinship type of thing. Like, why you exposing them if they have a transgression? Why is that the platform for your show? And I get it.
I
People
think
like
that
dirt,
what
people
she would
like
argue
gossip, people like violence,
right.
people
And
like
what she
sex.
would argue is that you are a public figure. And so, therefore, anything that happens is newsworthy. And so, therefore, I can talk about it because you have decided to put yourself in the public eye.
But how about if you didn't put yourself in the public eye? Like you thought you were having an alone moment and someone had, you know how these paparazzis do, rent
Mhm.
other people's apartments to take pictures into somebody
Right.
else's window or in
Well,
the
isn't
back
doesn't that
alley.
come I mean, all of that comes with the territory. Just like Wendy Williams said on her
I'm not
special,
saying
I
it
mean, on
does.
her
I'm not
documentary.
saying it doesn't. I'm blatantly saying I don't like that. Period. If you
Right.
ask
So
me
then
about it, I don't like that.
you wouldn't be a fan. You wouldn't consume this information. You wouldn't consume this gossip. But there are many other people that will. And that's
Yeah,
how she
there
was
were
able to
many
make a
other
living.
people that will. Exactly.
Right. So I mean, I
I
think
wasn't
it comes with the territory of being
all her
famous.
show wasn't about that. I just want to clear that up. There are a
But I
lot of
think
things
that's
she
what
was
made
talking
her
about.
famous. I think that's what yeah. Don't you think that's what made her popular and
I
famous?
think she had other things. Like I said, her conversation with Whitney Houston, her discussions with Mariah Carey, the questions that she would ask them straight out about their personal lives, like when's the
Right. She
last
was just
time?
edgy. She was
Right,
edgy.
she was edgy on that. Those
Mhm.
things, like I'm not. They're there. She's in front of them, confronting them. Yes. But folks that are not there to defend themselves and they shouldn't have to. Those things were a little suspect to me. Like,
Okay, but here's the thing, and how we tie this into the special for me, and the reason why I was bringing that up is because a lot of people said that she's getting her just due now. Like
calm.
it was yeah, karma is coming back to bite her in the butt, and that's why she's in this current condition that she's in. Because just like you said, this documentary was so sad, and it was very difficult for me personally to watch it because I just don't like to see people suffer. Like I don't even like my worst enemy, I would not want to witness them suffering in any way. Like I don't get any type of satisfaction from seeing any human being enduring any type of suffering. That's why I don't like watching shows like have you ever seen these shows where they show drug addicts like
Yeah.
struggling with drug addiction and
Yeah.
time after time, people
Yeah.
doing
Intervention shows.
interventions and
Yeah.
yeah, I can't watch them. They're too sad. I hate to see people suffer and struggle. And then they show the people falling down drunk and leaning over high. I just can't, I can't watch it. And I can't watch those shows like the 600-pound shows
Yeah.
with people
Life. Yeah.
struggling with weight. I just can't why it's that's I don't understand why that's entertainment to people.
But then
So
my whole thing is, but it's, and I'm not saying you do this, it's okay to talk about speculative stuff about people's sexual lives and extramarital affairs. oh, he doing what? She doing what?
Right.
Like,
Right.
and I'm saying these things are done behind, closed doors. People were trying to say she got her just due because her husband for 22 years had an affair with a young lady and got her and had a baby by this young lady for over 10 years. They had the affair for
Mhm.
not affair, relationship, I should say.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, I mean, you could watching the documentary, like you could really tell that she was struggling with her mental health. Just listening to some of the stuff that she said, she got her own brother's name wrong. Remember
Well,
when they went out to eat and she called her brother somebody? She called her brother
brother Kevin, her
Kevin. Yeah,
son, yeah,
her
but
son.
it's dementia.
Right, and that was the other thing, like, I didn't understand how she has a court appointed I have so many questions. She has a court appointed
Guardianship.
guardian,
Yeah.
but the guardian allowed this to I know that I heard that the guardian tried to block this, documentary from being shown, but she was unsuccessful. I think she went to court and tried to get a TRO, temporary restraining order, to keep the show from airing, but she was unsuccessful, obviously. But I mean, we didn't see the Guardian throughout the whole documentary. It just seemed like,
They
and
said
then
the
people.
Guardian would didn't want to take part in the documentary.
Well, I understand that, but it just seems like from what we saw that she wasn't being well taken care of. Like you heard people refer to Wendy being lonely. You know what I mean? Like she was skinny, there was no food in the house. Like why was there
I
no
think a
food in
lot
the
of that
refrigerator?
triggered from the fact that she didn't have access to her money, so she wasn't able to. It probably made her not want to go out. I mean, anybody can go out the house and take walks and walk around the park and do things. When she went to Miami, they had her healthy. They had her cooking. They had her exercise.
Because she was with her family. And
Right.
that's
She's
what I
30.
came away with because I'm listening to the
But she
family.
didn't wanna go down to Miami the second time. She didn't wanna be around her sister or her son because they were totally against her use of
Drinking.
alcohol,
Right.
right, and so she wanted to drink alcohol, but I knew she had some sort of dementia because I just was dealing with my dad and what he went through,
Mhm.
um, but
You
sh
saw some of the same signs
yeah, I mean, the arguing for one, like when she yelled at Keisha or when she yelled at the girl who was doing her nails,
Mhm.
I was like, that's not Wendy.
Normal?
Yeah,
Oh,
that
okay.
wasn't her. That wasn't her MO. And I was watching it and I told Felicia, I was like, that's dementia. And it wasn't until like the last episode when her son said, or her nephew said that the doctors told her she had
No,
what
I
was it,
think no,
alcohol
that was
induced
Kevin.
dementia.
Kevin
Her-
revealed that. Kevin said, "My mom was diagnosed with
yeah, I said her son or
alcohol-induced."
her nephew. Yeah.
I'm just confirming that it was actually her son, and that was
Uh,
another question that I had because that's private information. For you to disclose her medical condition, like, there's HIPAA laws. I mean, you can voluntarily disclose it, but she would have to be disclosing her her diagnosis. I didn't like that her son did that.
I
Well,
I didn't mind it because she had it. Like what? Look,
I
like I
know, but
said
that's
to
her
me,
personal
I
business.
deal with mental health a lot in school, and there's a private office and it's anonymous. First of all, Wendy, from what I'm hearing, she okayed the documentary. She wanted to do the documentary because it was putting money in her pocket.
But
I don't know how. Hold on, I don't know how factual that is. You want that information. Why are you having a camera in your face and you're
well,
going
she
through
did
that?
say she loves being famous, so I
Okay.
wouldn't be surprised if that
Right.
were true.
Right. So to me,
But
that interviewing, you got them interviewing everybody in your family. You want information about you to come out.
But the thing is she clearly is not in her right mind. The court felt that she needed to have a guardian appointed to take care of her. So therefore, that means that she is not capable of doing what's in her best interest. Let's assume
But
she
they
did
took the
want to do the
guardianship away
documentary.
from. They took it away from the family.
I don't think the family uh, had court appointed guardianship. I think the family was just doing what families
Well, they
do.
said that
They were
Kevin.
taking care of their family member. That's
But
what
they
families
said
do.
Kevin. They said the son was no longer allowed to have guardian over
And that was
him.
another question that I have. Like, because you have to petition the court to have a guardian appointed. So my question was, well, who petitioned the court?
Probably Wendy did.
But how can she petition the court if she's not in her right mind? The court said you need to have a guardian. So therefore, you see what I'm saying?
But
So
they
for her to
said she needed to
petition,
have a guardian because people were stealing her money. Yeah,
I just
and she
wonder
don't think
who.
you're right. They said she wasn't fit. They needed somebody to take care of her.
And it sounded like it wasn't the family because you could tell the family was salty about it. They were like, "We're family." Like they don't like the. You could tell they didn't
They
like the
thought somebody
guardian.
close to her was taking her money.
Right. They didn't like the guardian. They were like, "Why is this guardian taking care of our family member? Like that's my mom, that's my aunt, that's my
Why
sister.
weren't they in New York
We're
taking
capable of
listen,
taking care of
listen,
her."
listen. This is some questions I have. And
Yeah.
I'm not casting aspersions. I know this is a podcast. One of my questions is why are you in Miami and your mother's in New York sick?
Well, I know I don't know the answer to that, but I do know that
The
Kevin
entire
was.
family was in Florida.
I
She
know
wouldn't come
Kevin
down to
was in
Florida.
college in Miami. I do know
Right.
that. But I don't know if he's already graduated or what. I don't know. Um yeah, I mean, but you would think that if you had a family member close to you like that was in trouble, you would do whatever you could to be around them, whether you bring them to you or you go to them so that you can take care of them because she clearly needs help. And then she was saying that she's lonely. I remember
Well,
that
she
was one of the
lonely because
sad
she ain't getting out.
that was one of the saddest moments of the documentary to me when the producers of the documentary asked her, "Do you mind having this camera crew in here filming you?" And she said, "No, it's fine because I'm lonely and I want people here." Like that was
She
so
was
sad.
it wasn't sad to me. That's a person who wants fame and recognition. Because
No, I think she just wanted people around.
When she was out in Hollywood, who does this? Like, you out in Hollywood, you already I mean, people do this. You already famous, but you stopping by the stars. She asked the you asking the waitress at the
Do you know who I am?
"Do you
Right.
know who I am?" Like, so that recognition became an addiction probably for her.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
think, like and I know this is all speculating, like, maybe the fading away of her stardom, she used the alcohol to numb her pain, but she also said she was doing coke 5 days a week while she was on radio,
Yeah,
and
but
so I
that was at the beginning of her career.
but I believe she was, drinking too. So she
Well,
likes
that
to
was
drink.
my question. That was another question I had. Like, I was thinking, okay, so if you used to be addicted to cocaine, how are you now addicted to alcohol? Like, I would think, I don't know. I'm obviously not an addiction specialist or whatever, or an expert, but it just seems like she would be drawn back to that cocaine. I mean, I don't know, but maybe cocaine was too
Said she
expensive.
stopped she
I don't
said she
know.
stopped cocaine for a year because she wanted to get pregnant and have a baby. So she stopped. She figured a year not
Right.
using it would get it all out of her system.
So, what did you think about? To me, my favorite person on the documentary was her niece because I love the way her niece basically confronted her and told her the truth of what she needed to hear rather than,
It
confirming
didn't
what
ma
she
she
wanted for
wasn't
herself.
she wasn't comprehending her niece. She had dementia. So her niece, some of the stuff she was saying and you asking her questions, And like I said, my experience with people with dementia, that's a brain malfunction, you know.
So you
So
think
that's
even though her niece was telling her what she wanted to hear, she couldn't receive it because of her dementia? Yeah,
she
because her
wasn't going to receive it fully.
yeah,
She didn't like nobody bossing her around. That was apparent.
because her niece said it's despicable that she would be taken into that interview with NBC talking
It
about
was,
getting a
but
new show
that was
when
that
she
girl
was in the
taking advantage
condition.
of her.
Exactly. And
And
so that's
then
why I love the niece.
the guy will, you in charge of her. Why did that happen on your watch? You saying that
He was a
happened on her
manager,
watch?
right? He
You
was
the
a manager.
manager. Why did that happen on your watch?
Why did what happen?
Why did she go to LA on under your watch? He talking
And
about it
I
makes you look bad. Yeah, it does make you look bad
and
because you
that's
should know
all
her
people were
well.
it seemed like everybody was so selfish. Like the man okay, so
I
remember
don't think the manager was selfish. I think he was trying to help her.
okay, no. But remember when he called she went to was this when she went to Miami? No, she went to LA.
Yeah.
She went to LA and he called her on the phone and said, "Where are you? You're supposed to be here in New York in a meeting that we have."
Yeah.
And she was like, "I'm in LA with Sean, the publicist." And he said, "Get back here right now." Like he was yelling at her like she was a child. I was like, "Are you serious? You remember
Yeah, I
that?"
didn't like that either. I
That
didn't
was
like that.
horrible. So that made me think that he wasn't really
He
interested
would
in doing what was in her best
No, he
interest.
was
He
mad at
was
the girl.
thinking
He was
about
mad. He took out his anger on Wendy because he was mad at the girl. Like, how dare you let her take you to California? You know you shouldn't be
but
going
she was
anywhere.
supposed to be Wendy was supposed to be in New York with him because they had a meeting. And that made me wonder, well, what was your meeting about? Were you also trying to get her another job? You understand what I'm saying?
I think he might have been appeasing her. I don't know.
But he said, "You're making me look crazy because I'm telling these people that you're going to be here in this meeting and you're in California. So it's like you're making me look bad." And as opposed to him being concerned
Did
about
they have a
Wendy's
meeting with the
well-being.
did they have a meeting with the bank with Wells Fargo, the
I don't
Guardian?
know who
I
it
don't think
wasn't
it
clear
wasn't
to me.
anything that had to do with television. He was the thing that he was trying to get her to do, and he shouldn't have been doing was getting her to do a podcast.
That's what it was. It was
Yeah.
a meeting for the podcast. That's exactly what it was. And so I think they were all wrong. Like, are you you see the condition that this woman is in, and you're trying to get her to work? I just agree with Kevin when her son Kevin said, "My mom just needs to focus on her health. She should
Yeah,
not be trying to get a
that's
job."
what her nephew
Period.
said too.
Yes, and that's why I think she should be with her family. And I think you're right. The only reason why she's not is because she wants to drink, and they're not going to tolerate it.
Well, I mean, at the end of this episode, she was in a place for treatment, and they said that she was back to the old Wendy, and she was going to get rid of the guardianship and let her family control everything. That's
I
what
hope
was said.
that's what happens
That's what was said.
because love never fails.
But
And
it was very, very interesting. Her brother Tommy didn't believe it until he
he
sat at
saw
that table
for
and he
himself.
called her
Yeah,
Kevin. And then
right.
I said, okay, I bet you believe now.
And she was talking crazy, saying stuff like,
Yeah.
I have billions in the bank and they're not
Yeah,
giving me
showing her
money.
feet constantly on television like a child,
Yes, it
like a
was just
child.
not
It was
normal. It
childlike
was
behavior. It was
right. And then when
dementia.
she took her wig off, and that's not
With
Wendy.
Black China, yeah.
Right. That was actually a very heartwarming um scene when Black China came in. And you could tell there's real genuine love there. And Black China was like, I love you. I'm really your
She
friend.
was
Like you
crazy
call
out of her
me.
mind though to me.
She was
'Cause every
slurring
time
her
she said
speech.
something, she was just like, "Thank you, thank you, thank you. No, I love you too. Thank you,
Right.
thank
And
you."
did you see how she was slurring her speech? You could tell she
Yeah,
was twisted. She was twisted. And
yeah.
Black China knew it too, but she was like, I loved it because she was like, I will love you unconditionally. I don't care if you're a mess right now. Always gonna be there for you. So I thought that was nice. And then
Yeah, I
she
don't
gave her
think a
that
lot of
hug.
people might have had sympathy for her because of her treatment of others.
And that's really the
Like,
bottom
remember, Total
line.
pulled up on her.
Who?
Total, the group.
Okay. On this, not on this show. When you say pulled up on her, what do you mean?
Total. They told the story about when they met
They
her.
pulled up like, let's get it popping. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Remember, and her husband jumped in and broke it up. Came out of
Oh, okay.
nowhere.
Because she must have
Yeah.
said
Then she
something
put
that
her
was
middle
bad.
finger up out of the sunroof to them.
Okay, so that's the whole reason why I brought up the whole thing about these addiction shows and then the 600-pound show, like seeing people suffer. That to me, regardless of what you did, I don't want to see you suffer. That's just me personally. So I get people saying, karma is real and she's having to reconcile with her past now and she's getting what she deserves. I understand people saying that, but for me personally, I just don't agree with that ideology. So I hope she gets the help that she
What
needs.
do you mean? You don't believe what goes around comes around?
I guess I'm not. I'm
That's
just
why
saying.
people tell you to be careful how you treat others, because it can
No,
come back to you twofold.
no,
It don't have.
no. I believe you do reap what you sow.
Okay, same thing.
However, I personally don't enjoy seeing people.
Yeah, you don't take
suffer.
enjoyment into that.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that. I really
Just
don't.
because you reap what you sow, you don't take joy in what they reaping. Yeah, I get that. I
But
don't either.
I mean, I think although I really, this was kind of like a train wreck, like you don't really want to see it because it's painful, but you can't turn away from it, because I genuinely was concerned about what is her current condition. You just want her to be okay. Like for me personally, you hope that you see a glimmer of hope that she'll be okay in the long run. But I think that on the one hand, this should not have aired. Like we didn't need to see this much. But on the other hand, I think this actually it could possibly work in her favor, especially for people who think that, she deserves what she gets. Because if you see this, if you have a soul, if you have a heart, you gotta have some compassion for this woman, regardless of the fact that you feel she should, you know, pay for the sins of the past, should pay for what she did, pay for the mean things that she said about people. Even if you believe that, you have to have some compassion for this woman. What do you think?
I mean, I do.
Do you think people
I don't.
who
I don't think people that she hurts need to
have
have
any
it.
compassion?
Yeah, I don't. I mean,
Do you think
because
this show could
because of
help?
my religious background, I have that sort of compassion.
Okay, do you think this documentary could possibly cause those people that she hurt to have compassion for her?
Yeah, it can.
Yeah. And
But
that's the only good thing I see coming out of this
But
documentary.
it also can bring delight to some
That's
people.
true. That's true.
So
That is true.
and that's what's talked about. I don't like, like you said, your worst enemy, you don't want to see certain things happen. And sometimes if somebody did something to me bad, like I have an indifference. Like, if somebody did something to me and they said, well, my son is going to jail. I know what he did to you, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes if he did something terrible to me, I was just like, I don't care about him enough to intercede with the courts and go
I
to
hear
court.
you.
And just, I let what he did, I'm letting the Lord take care of. And whatever happens to him, that's the Lord doing what they doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be there to testify or anything like that. But whatever happens to him, happens to him. I don't care. He made his bed.
I hear you.
That's what I see. But interesting nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
Let us move on.
All right, little dance to the drummer's beat. The
Hey,
drummers beat. I don't know if y'all remember this.
hey, those hands,
This is when
dance to the drummers beat.
the b-boy, some people call it the Russian, that dance was out. This is a little bit before breakdancing. But yeah, let's dance to the drummers beat as we listen to President Biden's State of the Union.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought, I'm sorry, y'all. Excuse me.
It was about an hour, right? Is that what you
No,
felt?
it was over an hour. It was
Is
over.
that what you thought? Is that what you thought of the speech? You yawn?
No,
Is that
no. I thought that he actually the opposite. I thought his speech was exhilarating.
Yes.
I thought he came out very fiery. I thought he came out throwing punches. I thought he proved he made his case that he's a fighter and he's not this weak, meek guy just walking around aging out. You know, he had tough language and tough talk. And he had some promises that he made, you know, when he talked about jobs, money, raises for teachers, and, you know, manufacturing jobs in the United States and things of that nature. And I thought he did a very good job. I think his biggest line in the whole speech was like, you can't only love America when you win.
Yeah.
I thought that was a dope line, you know.
He said you can't love your country only when you win. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like that too.
I thought that was probably
That was directly to you know who.
Yeah, well, I mean, he kept saying his predecessor.
That's one thing I loved about it. I love that he referred to him as his predecessor and didn't give him that shine, didn't say his name. I love that. But I thought this was definitely a win. I agree with you. President Biden did himself a service. He did a good thing for himself, especially running up to the election. He won with the speech. Whoever wrote the speech was a genius. I think they did an amazing job. They packed a whole bunch of information into a short amount of time. And I love how he was self-deprecating. I love how he approached that whole ageism issue head on. And he said that, I know it may not look like it, but I've been around for a while. Yeah. And then he also talked about all the things that he's been around to see. And that I like how he said it's not how old we are, it's how old our ideas are. And hate and retribution are old ideas that we need to get away from.
Right.
So, and then the last thing he said about age, and he said a lot about, I think these were knockout punches to me. He said, when I first began my career in public service as a politician, I was 26 years old and they said I was too young. Now they're saying I'm too old. But you know, so it's really not that serious. Age is nothing but a number. The important thing is that I'm here to serve the public. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think he won with that. Just hitting that whole age issue head on was great. And then my favorite line was when he said, he acknowledged the fact that we haven't lived up to the idea that we are all created equal, but we haven't walked away from it either. I love that. I love that. And he left us with some hope. Left us with some hope that we could get better. He said, I also like what he said about, hold on. I took notes. He said, I see a future where our rights are protected. So to me, I like that he gave us hope for the future. I see a future where our rights are protected. But the only thought I had behind that was, I need to see that now. I mean, we can't wait. We can't wait for our rights. We need them now.
Yeah.
And I like what he said about women. Like he addressed the Supreme Court and said, you are wrong for overturning Roe v. Wade. He hit uh, his predecessor head on and said he was the reason why Roe v. Wade was overturned. And he brags about the fact that Roe v. Wade was overturned and it was because of him,
Yeah.
his predecessor. And he said, you're going to see the economic and political power of women in this country very, very soon. I liked it. I like that. That's exactly what he said. The Supreme Court is about to find out exactly how much political and electoral power women in this country have. I like how he called out members of Congress who voted against the infrastructure bill, but then they cashed them checks that their states got.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just on fire. He hit everything, anything you can think of. He hit it. Prescription drugs, building auto factories in the United States for job retention, education, HBCUs, making college more affordable, reducing student loan debt for 4 million people. Like you said, giving public teachers a raise, cutting the deficit over $1 trillion. He said he's a capitalist, but everybody should pay their fair share of taxes.
Yeah.
There's not going to be no additional taxes for people making less than $400,000. And
That's
he
a lot
bragged
of
about,
money.
yes, and he bragged about the child tax credit being cutting child poverty in half. So I mean, he anything you can think of, he hit it.
Yeah.
This was definitely a win.
He did. I think it can help him launch his campaign. He needs to get out there on the trail now and reiterate some of the things he says because I think he has the momentum. He also gives Democrat Democratic campaigners something to sell to the country. With the
Indeed, indeed.
promises he did. So I thought he did a good job. I enjoyed the speech. I thought it was hard hitting and humorous at the same time.
But you know something that he hit that was vital because people are saying he needs to do something about Israel and Gaza.
Yeah, God.
Yeah, he needs to do something about that. And because he hasn't called for an outright, ceasefire and made Israel stop doing what they're doing, although I don't know how he could make them stop, but he said that he is directing the military to create a temporary pier in Gaza so that assistance can be given to the people in Gaza, because
Yeah,
that has been a
hospital.
problem.
Yeah.
People have been trying to give them humanitarian assistance and they're being shot at, the people are being, it's crazy. Like they can't even
Yeah.
get. So I like that he came up with a solution for that. That should win him some points. And then also he addressed the school shooting and school shooting problem, the mass, shooting problem and the weapons. He called for an assault weapons ban, and he also said that he has established the first ever office of gun violence prevention in the White House that's being led up by Kamala Harris. And Vice President Kamala Harris. And that was another thing that was just beautiful to see that beautiful Black woman on the screen the whole time, sitting behind the most powerful person in the world, in the second most powerful seat in the world. That was beautiful.
You know that's the fourth time that happened, right?
The fourth time, what happened? That a Black woman was a vice president?
The fourth time that she sat behind him for the State of the Union.
I know, but I'm just saying it's beautiful to see.
You're saying the image doesn't get old.
No. Don't you love that?
I do.
Yeah, it doesn't get old. It's beautiful to see. And it, especially juxtaposed to Mike Johnson up there with his looking like his face the whole time looked like he smelled something bad, or like
no, he smiled sometimes and he did applaud and stand sometimes. He probably wanted to applaud more than what he could, but he knows he's on the Republican side, so he couldn't do that.
He was shaking his head most of the time.
A lot. He was shaking his head a lot, but there's sometimes he went like this and agreed. And then sometimes he stood up and fully applauded and clapped. Just like some Republicans.
How about when he talked about how many billionaires there are in America?
He said 1,000.
1,000 billionaires in America, and they pay 8.2% in taxes, less than teachers, nurses, and sanitation workers.
Yeah. Loopholes. What did you think about, excuse me, Katie Britt's response?
Oh my God, that was so annoying.
That was dramatic, performative.
She was so, I mean,
And the
I was
Republicans roasted her the next day.
it was
They went
horrible.
off on her.
It
was phony to me.
It was phony, as fake as a $2 bill. It was, I could not relate to it, not one bit.
I don't like when young people or younger people, you're 40, and like you said, Biden's been around way longer than you, and then you're gonna say he's out of touch with politics. He done forgot more politics than you know. So where's the reverence and the respect for, for his years of experience, his experience and dedication? Because at the end of the day, Republican or Democrat, you're still being a servant to the country, right? And I think that needs to be recognized,
Right.
Unless you did something evil and awful. But overall, I'm not mad at Biden's speech, and I hope it helps him when he's out on the campaign.
And let us move on.
But I heard that some people don't like the way
Yeah. A little Stetsasonic for you. All right. So the Oscars are up tonight. I think this is the 96th Oscar. So what they had was...
Are you going to watch it?
I don't know.
I know.
List of best pictures winners ranked. Yes, all 95 of them. Ahead of night. So 95 was the Broadway Melody. 94 was Crash. So we trying to scroll through how many blacks movies are. Would you call Crash a black movie?
It has some black actors, but I wouldn't call it a black movie.
The greatest show on earth. Cimarron, Cavalice, Driving Miss Davy, definitely not a black movie. Around the World in 80 Days, The English Patient.
Driving Miss Daisy had
Morgan
Freeman, but it wasn't really
a black movie. Shakespeare in Love, I saw that. Did you see Driving Miss Daisy?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
Did you see The English Patient?
No. I saw Green Book. That was good.
Out of Africa?
Nope. I know people fell asleep on that one. That thing was like 25 hours.
Shakespeare in Love?
Nope.
That was a great movie. $1 Million Baby?
Yes, that's the one.
What's her name? Movie.
What's her name?
Swank.
Yes.
And Morgan Freeman was in that movie too.
That was a good one.
Chariots of Fire?
No.
I saw that. Green Book.
These are all best picture. What are these?
Yeah, they are. I saw Green Book 2000.
I saw Forrest Gump.
Yeah. Slumdog Millionaire. I only saw a little bit about that.
I didn't see that. Hurt Locker. I saw
Forrest Gump. I saw that. You saw the Hurt Locker?
Yeah, that was good. Terms of Endearment. I saw
who's
that.
in the Hurt Locker? Jeremy Renner.
Yeah, that was
I think I saw a little bit of that. I saw American Beauty. That was good. With Kevin Spacey.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that one.
That was great.
Terms of Endearment was good. That was a tearjerker. I remember that.
Argo, The Deer Hunter, Oliver. I saw some of Oliver. The Best Years. Braveheart. Did you see Braveheart?
I did not.
I seen some of that. Ordinary People. I saw that.
Many of these movies I didn't see.
Kid won the Oscar. An American in Paris, Mrs. Miniver, then The King's Speech. I saw that.
Is that the one with the eye guy with the eye? What's his name? The guy with the eye.
The guy with the eye. Who's that?
With the black actor with the eye, with the messed up eye. Oh my God, what is his name?
Movie? What other movie did he play in? Chadwick Boseman.
Forrest Whitaker. God dang, Forrest Whitaker.
No, you talking about the King of Scotland when
Oh, okay, with
he
the
played
Edie
Idi
Amin.
Amin. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. I'm mixing up my movies.
Yeah,
Okay.
for real, yeah.
I think
Wayne,
I did see the King's Speech though. I think I did. I
did you
did.
see Dancing with Wolves
No,
with Kevin Costner? I saw that.
no. Was that really good?
All the Kingsmen, yeah. Dancing with Wolves was good. All Men,
Rain Man. I saw Rain Man.
A Beautiful Mind with Russell
Mm,
Crowe.
I feel like I have
That
seen
was a
that.
great picture.
I feel like I've seen that.
Shape of Rain Man, I saw that.
Oh, The Sound of Music is one of my favorite musicals.
Gandhi, I saw. Sound of Music, I saw. The Artist, no. Mutiny on the Bounty.
Lord of the Rings. I saw that. I'm
Rebecca
not sure which one I saw.
Patton.
If I saw all of them.
No Country for Old Men was great.
I didn't see that.
Midnight Cowboy.
Oh, Kramer versus Kramer. I saw that one.
Yeah. Platoon. Yeah, this kid I went to high school with and he was in Kramer versus Kramer. He just had a walk by part. I saw Platoon,
I saw the
Titanic, of course.
yes, I saw the Titanic. I saw The Departed. That's when I really
Annie
fell in
Hall,
love
I saw that. I
with
saw
Leo DiCaprio. Leo DiCaprio is an amazing actor to me.
Annie Hall, I saw.
And Jack Nicholson.
The Sting, I saw.
12 Years a Slave, I
Ben
saw.
Ben Hur was a great movie.
Actually, did I see 12 Years a Slave? I don't think I saw 12 Years a Slave.
Gladiator, I saw that. Are you not entertained? That was Russell Crowe. In the Heat of the Night, was that a black movie? No, it's just a black lead.
Of course, I saw
The
Rocky.
Party was good. My Fair Lady, 12 Years a Slave. Was that a black movie? Maybe.
Mhm.
Chicago, From Here to Eternity, The Apartment. Rocky. Rocky was a good movie.
Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah,
Hello, Clarice.
Spotlight. Gone with the Wind. Moonlight. Moonlight was a black film.
Did you see Schindler's List?
Did you see Moonlight?
Why they put Godfather on the list first?
That was number one. Did you see Moonlight?
No.
That won the Oscar. That was a black movie. That's the only black movie in here.
This is some garbage. This is a garbage list. You don't have no black people on here. Next.
Hold on. It's not a garbage list. It's a factual list. These are all the movies that won Best Picture in the 95 different Oscars. All of them won.
You ain't got no black movie. Why come there's no pictures up on the wall of black people? Sal, huh?
Yeah, no black films won except
Sal, how come there's no black people up on the wall?
Lawrence of Arabia. One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest was a dope movie. Did you see that?
I did not.
Oh, that's a class. That's probably the best movie on there. The Godfather Part 2, I saw that. Silence of the Lambs, I saw that. The French Connection, I saw that. Amadeus, I saw that. I didn't see All About Eve. Schindler's List, I saw. Casablanca, I did, and then The Godfather, I did. I saw about like 35 to 40 of these movies.
How come there's no black people up on the wall, Sal? That's all I want to know.
How many best black actors in these films? So Moonlight was one. Old boy that played in the Green Book, he won that. No, that's it. There's no black people who won Oscars except for Moonlight. Spotlight was good. Did you see that?
No.
If you didn't see Spotlight, you, Ryan, and just need to go watch that movie tonight. That's probably woo.
Who is in that? Let me see.
I mean, The Godfather.
That's not on this list, right?
Yeah, it's number 16.
What? For real?
Yeah. The shady. This is when they uncovered the Catholic priests that were molesting kids.
I don't want to see that.
They didn't show the molestation. It was the investigation of how many. Look, this ended private, like a lot of private Catholic schools around the world, because they had to stop because they needed all the money to defend. Like, you gotta see that movie. That was with Michael Keaton in it. It was very good. Rachel McAdams it was awesome. I watched that movie over and over again. Okay, yes, that will bring it into that. And
let us move on.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario? Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
All right. So this is where we play.
I was about to
I
hit
was
the
in La
button.
La Land. Wasn't that a movie that was up for Oscar? La La
Yeah, that's the Jay-Z did that song when he was saying it was a moonlight, but we were in La La Land on
I was,
444.
oh yeah, I was in La La Land right there. So here, this is where we play the Am I Tripping game, a party game that was created by Reese Colbert, and it can be purchased at amitrippinggame.com for $20. So here we go with our first scenario. You ready? What was that?
That was if you didn't get the question right. I meant to do this one.
Oh, we got fairies here to help us.
Well, that's the first question. The first question.
It sounds like you're sprinkling fairy dust. Thank you. Okay. Here we go. You ready?
Let's go.
My wife and I can't agree on what kind of car to get my son for his 16th birthday. We make good money, so she wants to get him a new entry-level luxury car. I told her we make good money, not him, so he needs to work his way up to luxury and start with a cheap car. Am I tripping?
Not at all. Not at all.
Here's the thing.
Give him something to work for.
It depends though, because my thing is this. It ain't tricking if you got it. So if you have enough money where you can afford to buy your child a more expensive car, it could be the difference between surviving a car accident and not surviving a car accident. So if you got it, my thing is,
But then you would buy
you
him a
could get
truck.
like a better.
You would buy him a truck. That throws that argument out, because if you worried about him an accident, you would get him a F-150 or F-250.
And it's
that would
only
be his truck.
entry level. It's entry level.
I'd say there's a lot of other things that you have to look at. If he's 16 years old, he's still in high school. He's going to high school. So
okay, can I tell you a story? I'm gonna tell you a quick story. And this happened to a friend of mine.
I just want to say I didn't mind the interjection, but go ahead.
Were you finished your thought?
Absolutely not. But
okay, go.
No,
finish
your quick story.
Okay, quick story. A friend of mine, same scenario. You know, son buying him his first car. The husband bought him a Mercedes. It was like a Mercedes. I don't even know.
C20, something like C30.
Yeah, like a Mercedes. And he ended up, and the wife was like, Mercedes, that's too much. Like, why? That's not necessary. Like, why are you spending all this money for him on a car? I think it was used, but still was a Mercedes. And he got into an accident. And the reason why he survived that accident is because he was in a Mercedes. Like, he should have been, according to her, according to the severity of the accident, he should have been in much worse shape than he was, and he was able to walk away from it. So the point is I'm not saying
they're not,
you know,
but the statement, the I don't think I don't think that the scenario you set up was dealing with safety.
That's true. You're right.
It was more dealing with luxury, and that means people who don't have money, they're not protecting their children because they can't afford these cars.
You're right.
That's just not the case. I think that you have to consider him going to school around other people. Now, if he goes to one of those schools where everybody's fancy, then it's not a big deal. You know, everybody pulls up in these cars. Or when you go to a school when everybody's not, that can cause problems for him. Also, he's 16 years old. If he goes out on the weekend, that can cause problems because just like luxury cars, they proven that certain cars get stolen more than others, and that doesn't have to do anything with the luxury of it. But I think you have to also put into the mind, like if you're giving him top, you're entitling him, and you could be enabling him, and you could be creating something like, what does he have to work for after that? Now you might say, well, it's just the entry model, and he can work his way up to getting the 600. But I would just say that's too much for high school, college. That's why I would agree with the men. Like you didn't earn this. We giving this to you, and it's drawing attention. He definitely would be in a nice car, but it'd be regular.
Okay. I said all that for the sake of discussion, but I don't think that she's tripping, or yeah, I don't think
That he's tripping, yeah.
that he's tripping to want to get a cheaper car. Just
Yeah.
because, when you
I
have
would, I would get him.
a young teen person, another thing is they have to learn how to appreciate things,
Mhm.
and they're
I
gonna
get him.
they're gonna they're gonna damage the car. They're gonna scrape it all up. They're gonna have
I, I would get him
McDonald's
a
French
nice.
fries under the seat. They're gonna have soda
Well, they gonna
stains
do
on the,
that with any car.
But I'm
Yeah.
just saying, don't why invest a lot of money into something that they're gonna run into stuff. They're gonna scrape stuff. You know how
It's
kids
not
are.
the money to me as much as it is the symbolism, because I would buy him a fully packed Honda Accord that had all the accoutrements in it. And like you said, buying a used Mercedes, the prices could be the same. You
Mhm.
understand? So it's more of like the symbolism in what grade that I'm dealing with. Like my child, 16 years old, coming in with a BMW, and most of his friends' parents maybe not have a car or they're not driving that. So
Mhm.
I give him the dopest Honda Accord that they have, and he can pull up into that. And that's something like people will say, I can obtain that.
But I think it's just a fine line between between giving your kids what you can afford to give them. Like I don't necessarily think you should withhold things from them for the sake of trying to teach them about hard work and trying to teach them about not being materialistic. Like I
Did,
think we can
did you have a car
instill.
in high school?
Not in high school, no.
Case closed.
What does that have to do with anything? My parents didn't have any money. What are you talking about? That's my point. If you have it, why are you withholding it for the sake of trying to teach
All
a
right.
lesson?
First of
That
all,
to
like
me doesn't make
we have to
sense.
ask this question: does the kid need a car? Are there school buses that take him to school? Is there public transportation that takes him to
You
school?
talking about for this scenario on the card?
Yeah, like does the kid
Okay,
need?
yeah. Well, we can talk about that, but we can only go by what's on the card. If
Right.
you're saying that that's an issue, that makes sense. But yeah, that does
What?
make sense. If you
Okay, then
need it,
let me ask you this question: why not get him a Maybach truck at 16?
what I said was what you can afford.
No, they could afford it. They had the money. They said they well off. They could have bought him anything. That's what the scenario says. That's what
No, it
I'm
does
reading.
not.
It says we're well off.
That doesn't mean you can buy a Maybach. What are you talking
That
about?
doesn't mean you can't either.
Oh my God.
You can't judge it.
Here's what I'm trying.
Can you
Maybe
read
I'm
what it
having
says?
trouble
Can you read what it says?
articulating. Okay. Maybe I'm having trouble articulating what I mean. It says my wife and I can't agree on what kind of car to get my son for his 16th birthday. We make good money, so she wants to get him a new entry-level luxury car. I told her we make good money, not him. So I told her we make good money, not him. So he needs to work his way up to luxury and start with a cheap car.
A basic car, yeah.
If that's the point that the husband is trying to make, don't buy him any car. Let him buy himself a car. If you're going to take that
Unless it's needed.
attitude,
Because I thought you were going to come back with me when I said public transportation. You were going to say, Shantae, it's safe for him to drive in a car. He don't have to be subjected to any mental
I'm
illness.
just saying. I'm just saying. Do you think it's possible to raise wholesome, decent children that are appreciative of what they have, that are not materialistic, that work hard, and still provide them with things that they need that you can afford that may be nice?
Okay,
Is that
but
possible?
you just said they're
Is
not.
that
But
possible?
it
Yes or no?
definitely is possible.
Right. So
You
that's
can
all
purchase.
I'm
You can
saying.
purchase what you want. But what I'm saying is, I'm not saying. My argument wasn't with the dad. He needs to work his way up. I do agree with that, because I said, facts. You're not tripping. You said the child wasn't materialistic, so 9 times out of 10, he probably not going to like that luxury car because
Right.
some
That's a
people,
good question. Does he
right?
even want that car?
Does he
You're
even
right.
want that car? But what
Right.
I'm saying is, I'm looking at the attention it can draw to him that could get him hurt. I'm talking about
Okay.
he could jealousy, things like that happen. You pull up in something nice.
Okay, let's talk about the entry level luxury cars. You got the,
Okay.
like you said, the
Three
C,
200,
yeah,
yeah. That's a
yeah,
fly ass little
Mercedes C,
Mercedes though.
right? And then the Lexus little entry level. What's that one?
The
The little,
I-20, something like
yeah, I
that.
mean
Yeah.
these are not like super flashy cars. They're just a luxury brand. You
The
understand
the
what I'm saying?
BMW would be the 325. Look, they just smaller, but they dope cars.
Like I've seen kids at my at Ryan's school with like Range Rovers and stuff. These
Yeah.
kids be pulling up.
But they probably driving their parents' car. Because that's what I do. Here's the third. When this is how I look at what the father should say. When your son get old enough or your daughter gets old enough, that's a reason for you to purchase another car because you're gonna be paying them car notes. You get what I'm saying? If
When
I'm
you're
paying the car notes, and I say, oh, okay, well, here, we want this now. We want a nice Cherokee Jeep.
Mhm.
All right. There you go. He can drive the Cherokee Jeep. Or she can drive the Cherokee Jeep. And that's a
Jeep
nice
Cherokee.
car. And it's, that ain't
Mhm.
even entry level.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
But I
let's just
get what you're saying. But I agree both ways. Yes, it can teach him a lesson, but it's not necessarily needed to teach him a lesson.
right.
Because
I
your
mean, you can
lessons that
teach your
you
kids.
already instilled in him, if you're going to purchase him a car, I would assume that this gentleman is already what they said son, so I'm staying with that scenario, is that he's already responsible because I'm not buying my child a car if they're not responsible.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
And you'll
Because
know. You will know.
Right,
Yeah.
because there'd be a danger to somebody else on the road. Like
Right.
like I would sit down with him, like you're driving the car mostly, so it's going to be up to you to get the oil check. It's going to be up to you to see. And if it was my daughter too, I would do the same thing because one day you teach that lesson. Like one day you may be on your own.
My thing is you know how people say, well, I got it out the mud, so my kids need to get it out the mud. I just don't subscribe to that.
I don't subscribe to that either because you got it out the mud, so the next generation don't have to
Thank
be
you.
in. You ain't in mud no more.
Thank you. That's where I'm at with it. So
Yeah,
that's why I say it ain't chicken if you got it,
yeah,
it.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
how I look at it. Okay. So we're
All
going.
right.
All right. My teenage kids have blocked me on social media. Hold on, that's just funny to me. My teenage kids have blocked me on social media, so I have a burner page to monitor them and all of their friends and all of their friends. They are good kids, and I have not caught them doing anything more than typical kid stuff. But I feel like the best defense is a good offense. So I need to be in the know. Am I tripping?
No, not at all.
I ain't got time for all this. A burner page to monitor. So you create a whole new profile and pretend like you some. Usually kids be onto that because they don't let you in the group if they don't know. They'd be like,
But she not. I don't think she's tripping if she wants to keep a watchful eye out on her kids.
I don't think so either, but there's all kinds of tools out here that parents can use. You know that, right? Besides create,
Well,
because this
she using
this
the
sounds
burner
like a lot
page.
of work. It sounds like a lot of work, don't it?
It's not.
Okay.
It's just setting up
But you
another
don't
thing.
think the kids gonna be suspicious because they
If
be
they find
knowing.
out, they find out.
They be like, who is you know, treetop 123? Like, we don't know who that is. Like, why is this person in our group
You
trying to
gotta
talk
be.
to
Only
us?
thing you have to be careful about is being looked at as a stalker, an overage stalker, and you dealing with
Right.
minors. You know.
But I'm gonna say you're not tripping if you're trying to monitor your kids and make sure they're not doing anything
It's not
untoward.
even that. It's just their safety, making sure you know who they hang out with. Like if you see another little person on there, say there's a guy on there named Robert, and then you could say to your kids one day, "Do you know a Robert Stanley?" I think I ran into his father at the sun. You lying? Yeah, I know Robert Stanley. Like you do a lot with him. And they be like, nah, I hang out. Why are you asking? It's just like, oh no, because I heard that, he smoked a lot of marijuana, you know? and they say, yeah, he do. How you know that? I said, yeah, I got my way. I keep an eye
A,
on
a little
you.
birdie told me.
Yeah, like, yeah. And I would tell him, be watch out. Like I'm gonna watch y'all as much as I can. I ain't gonna interfere, but I'm gonna find out what's going on.
I don't see you creating a burner page. I see you maybe getting that software that you can use to monitor your kids.
I'm straight up. I'm gonna be on your shit if you gonna have me as a friend. I ain't hiding it from you.
So you're gonna create a page and let them know you created a page.
Yeah, let them know they creating a
And
page.
see, it seems like on here they try to be undercover.
That's what they try to do. I want my kids to be
Because
able to.
that's what a burner phone is, a phone you use and you toss it out. Like nobody gonna trace you. So I thought it was
You
like
don't
you
have
trying to
you don't
be,
have to toss it out. You can keep putting minutes on it.
but nobody can really trace you. Like it's not.
No, but the FBI got. I mean, the cops got. They could catch the tower you keep calling from, and then get the area and find out. But what I'm saying is, it's like Felicia did with their cell phones. Like I'm monitoring where you are, and the reason why, because you're my child,
Don't make me
right?
laugh.
Huh?
Don't make me laugh. They
Why
had
you?
to, they had to find you one time, didn't they?
Yeah. Thank God. Thank God. That's
We're
when
not
I was.
gonna, we're not going to discuss.
Yeah, I ain't
Okay,
ashamed of it.
moving on. Let us move on.
Yeah. All right. The next one.
Okay. Oh my God, that cracks me up. My ex and I have been co parenting well for 5 years. Now that his girlfriend got a new job out of state, he wants to move and take our kid with him. I told him I was not okay with my kid being uprooted to another state just to accommodate his girlfriend. So they would have to be long distance if he wanted to keep joint custody. What? Does that make sense? My wife and I have been co-parenting well for 5 years. Now that his girlfriend, I said my ex and I have been co-parenting well for 5 years. Now that his girlfriend got a new job out of state, he wants to move and take our kid with him. I told him I was not okay with my kid being uprooted to another state just to accommodate his girlfriend. So they would have to be long distance. Oh, so they would have to be long distance if he wanted to keep joint custody. Okay. So basically, she's saying
He would have to be long distance with his girlfriend if he wanted to
girlfriend
keep
if
it.
keep
So
joint
she's
custody.
saying, if you want to be joint custody, you have to stay your ass
Stay
in the
here.
city.
Right.
Yeah.
Am I tripping? What do you think?
No, I don't think she's tripping. I don't think she's
How
tripping.
how
It's
the heck do he think he just gonna take the child and leave? Like that
well,
don't
it's
even sound
all
right.
right. So here's some things I would look at. How old is the child? One, and then two, what gender is, what sex is the child?
Why does the gender matter?
Because I feel like a man Your son needs, a man could raise a son a little bit better, and I think a woman can raise his daughter better.
So if it's a son, you saying the father should stay here?
No, the next thing I was going to say, if you were moving out of town because you got a job, yeah, but you moving out of town because she got a job, no, I'm not
Because the
accommodating
girlfriend
her.
got a job.
Yeah, and I know that's petty, but
It's not. It might not even be a job. She might just be like, "Let's move. I don't want to be
Well,
here. I want to be."
let's go with the card.
It doesn't say. Does it say job? It
What
didn't
does
say.
it say?
It all it says is I told. Oh shoot. I lost my picture. It says I told him I was not okay with my kid being uprooted to another state just to accommodate his girlfriend. It just says just to accommodate his girlfriend. Oh, my
Well,
bad. You're right.
no,
You're right. You're
read
right.
the beginning.
You're right. You're right. You're right. Right. It says now that his girlfriend got a new job out of state,
Yeah.
he wants to move and take our kid with him.
Right. So
Yeah.
I agree with her. I'm not accommodating her because that means where's your job? And you moving because of her? She should be staying here because you got your family here. She
Okay.
shouldn't want to take your family, your kids
True.
away
But
from the mother.
true. But let me ask you this. What if they got married? Would that make a difference? If
Yeah,
he
because
married
I
his
would
girlfriend
still tell the lady, like, you're marrying somebody who
with the
already has
child?
a family. Why would
Mm.
you want to take him away from his kids?
But here's the part I don't understand. He wants to move and take the child with him.
Right,
Like,
because he wants full custody over the child. They might have a close
but
bond
she
and
said
connection.
but okay, but they currently have joint custody. So
Right.
if they have joint custody, why do you think you can take the child and move?
I mean, they would discuss it so he would get sole custody. If he gonna move, if the mother gonna let him move, why not let him have sole custody?
Look, she's saying the mother is saying you can't even have joint custody if you leave. Because she's saying you would have to be long distance if you want to keep joint custody.
Yeah, that's true.
So because I can see
Joint
a
custody
scenario.
causes him not to pay, but you ain't gonna be here. So what she's saying, like in joint custody, you taking the load off of me once in a while because you're getting these kids. You might get them every other weekend. You might have them twice during the week. And so that's joint custody, which you ain't paying no child support. But Nicolette, if we live in Maryland and then you move to Pittsburgh, well, you're not seeing him, my child, every week. So you don't have your joint custody. If you keep it, that means you getting away with nothing because you don't have to watch him and you ain't paying nothing.
Wait, but hold on. I'm thinking if you have joint custody, can the child come and stay with him like every 6 months or every other month or
However they arrange it, but that usually prevents the spouse from paying child support.
joint custody, right?
Yeah. So
So
what
you're
she's
saying
saying,
you think he might be trying to get around the joint custody?
I don't know. I don't.
She's saying I'm not even giving you I'm not even trying to give you joint custody unless you stay here.
Right. Well, and
That's a bit extreme to me
no.
because
What's extreme that she's not giving them joint custody?
that she's arguing the only way you can have joint custody is if you stay here. Can't you have joint custody in different states? And the child just come every other month or something? Is that possible?
But if
maybe in the summer because
hold on.
You
The
want to
child
stay in
goes
one
to-
school. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. There you go.
So
I was
how
about to
about
say if the child go to school, he can't go to school in
two schools,
Pittsburgh
right?
1 month and then Maryland the next. So
Right.
that's not going to happen. So somebody, and I get what she's saying. Joint custody relinquish you from any parental duties financially or physically.
No, full custody does.
No, joint custody does
You
because
said you're relinquished from parental duties if you have joint custody? No,
you move. Because how often is the kid going to come to Pittsburgh? Let's say it's Nevada. It's even farther away. So
okay.
how often the kid going to come out to Nevada? Every other week we buying plane tickets? He going to fly out there every other Friday? No, that's
So you're
not going to
saying
happen.
technically you were doing less because the child's
Right.
not
So
with
if
you.
you move out of state, Lord have mercy.
It slipped on out there, didn't it? Okay.
If
We're gonna act
you
like we didn't
move
hear
out, forgive me for that one. Lord have mercy. That's a fumble. That's not a good one.
You calling more attention to it. Ain't nobody even heard it.
All right, so yeah, all right. So if you move out of state, you have to contribute one way or another. So that's going to be either you flying back here every other week to watch him, and then you're going to get him over the summer times or whatever, or you going to, help out financially.
That's what I see. I wasn't thinking about the work involved, but that's a good point. The work, because she's going to get the brunt of the responsibility.
All of the
because
responsibility.
Well, I mean, she could send him to his father for the summer.
That's true.
Or for like Christmas, she probably not gonna want to do Christmas, but like part of Christmas break.
Oh, you switch off holiday, Thanksgiving or Christmas. Yeah.
Right. I mean, here's the thing. I feel like they could work it out, but I'm not gonna say she's tripping. I'm not, because you're not taking my baby.
No, I don't think she's tripping.
You're not gonna take my baby. You ain't taking my baby out of state and you sound crazy.
But so it depends though. Like if it's no offense to women, like if it's the dad, then you're gonna keep the son away from him. Like if he raising it, like look at your relationship Ryan has with Justice and all the sports and everything like that. That's hard to break up,
I know, but you see, but listen to what she said in the very beginning. My ex and I have been co-parenting well for 5 years.
Yeah.
That's her point. Like, I want you in his life. Stay here so we can keep this up.
But what happens when he gets an extraordinary job elsewhere? Like it's a 200.
You can't add to the scenario.
Well, why
you
would
said,
you?
Let's go with what's on the paper.
Okay, I'm saying that's why I wouldn't, because on the paper she's moving. It's a difference. That's what I'm saying. It would be a difference if he's moving for another job and he's like, Laura, I can't turn that. Like, I make 116 now. They offer me 350. I can't turn that down. He is, he'll be well taken care of, blah, 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 blah. But that's still a mother saying, yeah, you taking my child away. And then, well, he could say the same thing. You taking my child away. So how do you split it?
Yeah, that's a tough situation, but I don't know any mother that's going to be like, okay, go ahead, take them.
Oh, yeah, there's something. They did that in Boys in the Hood.
She said, go ahead, take them.
Yeah, Angela Bassett says it. I even got.
But that was because she was like, I can't do nothing with him.
That wasn't that. Hold on. Let me.
All right. Well, this is a This is a doozy.
All right, watch this real quick.
You about to shut, not the excerpt from Boys to Men. Please don't do this. I said Boys to Men, Boys in the Hood.
There goes your son. You wanted him, you got him.
Why are you trying to make this so easy?
Well, it's like you told me. I can't teach him how to be a man. That's your job.
So that song is called Memory Serves Me, but he take that from Angela Bassett and Larry Fishburne and Boys in the Hood. Now, to keep it honest, she wasn't sending them out of state. She was just sending them across town so she could see her son.
Yeah, that's different. That's very
different. That scenario is different. But I'm saying if she lived in they lived in Los Angeles and he got a job up in Sacramento, or San Francisco, what then,
But out of state, that's too much. Unless it's like,
it could look, LA to San Francisco is like a 2-hour flight or something like that?
Or like, over here, like where I am, there's 3 states right next to each other, DMV. DC, Maryland, Virginia, right here. So out of state would be
If you go from Upper Marlboro to Alexandria, you ain't really talking about anything.
Right.
It
does depend on the distance.
Radius, yeah. But now you live in Bowie, Maryland, and he has a job in New York, you know, Philadelphia, that's something different. And Philly ain't even that bad, you know.
So do we agree that she's not tripping
She's
by
not
saying
tripping.
you gotta
Yeah,
stay here? Yeah.
she's not tripping. I
You
do
ain't
agree
tripping.
with that at all. So none of them were tripping today.
Yeah, nobody was tripping today.
And let us move on.
Blackness. Keep on.
Hey.
Never say die. Keep on. Blackness.
So today we want to highlight Anna Julia Cooper. Anna Julia Cooper was born on August 10th, 1858 in Raleigh, North Carolina. She was an American author, an educator, a sociologist, a speaker, a Black liberation activist, a Black feminist leader, and one of the most prominent African American scholars in United States history. She was born into slavery in 1858, and she received a world class education, which enabled her to claim power and prestige in academic and social circles. In 1924, she received her PhD from the Sorbonne University of Paris in France. Cooper became the fourth African American woman to earn a doctoral degree. She was also a prominent member of Washington, D.C.'s African American community and a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Anna Cooper made contributions to social science fields, particularly in sociology. Her first book, entitled A Voice from the South by a Black Woman of the South, is widely acknowledged as one of the first articulations of Black feminism, giving Cooper the often used title of the mother of Black feminism. Anna Julia Cooper, our little known Black history fact.
All right.
Nice.
Let us move on. And let us move on.
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Okay, we have a child,
Mm,
Indian child, beaten savagely at a daycare camp.
mm, mm,
Uh,
mm, mm.
I did have his name. Oh, what happened to that? Give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull that up. I know they're from India, but he got beaten so bad that he had paralysis.
Oh my God.
So yeah, let me just get this real quick.
Sometimes they withhold the names of minor children. I think they probably because they have the mom, the mom, the parents' names are Suman and Indrani Kundu, and they look
Yeah,
like
but
they might
the
be.
son's name was similar.
Oh, it's in here because I didn't see it.
It was in the article I pulled up. Yeah,
Oh,
in this article they don't have the name. Um,
but he was 2 years
yeah,
old.
2 years old was allegedly savagely beaten. The next time they saw him, he was fighting for his life in the hospital. Wow, that's
And
horrible.
this was in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Like, who would do this to a child? An employee
The
of
boy
the.
was noted to be resting on his cot until he had an apparent seizure within an hour, according to the lawsuit, which says 9/11 was called around 1:57. The lawsuit accuses the Academy of Future Leaders of hiring Craig despite prior domestic violence accusations against him, and says it didn't call 911 to report the boy's potential seizure. Now the boy struggles to walk and is permanently injured, according to Morgan and Hackett. Those are the attorneys. He has paralysis on the left side of his body. God, Lord have mercy. And can no longer see out of his left eye, they said. So our hell no goes to this institution. Got to be careful what school you pick.
This was a daycare too, and he suffered a traumatic brain injury and extensive damage to his ribs, pancreas, stomach, gallbladder. What is wrong with people? This is just crazy. There's no explanation for why somebody would do that. Nothing that's going to be justified. I don't care what it is.
Not at all.
And let us move on.
Give it up, give it up, give it up, yo. Give it up, give it up, gotta give it up. Give it up, give it up, give it up, yeah. Give it up, give it up.
You got to give it up.
All right, let's give it up to Courtney Solomon, made history by being the first 11-year-old girl competing in a national televised radio. Courtney.
Radio.
I mean, rodeo. Sorry. Rodeo.
I was about to say, this must be your first rodeo. You acting like this is your first rodeo.
All righty. All right. As we close up today, we remember our wow for the week was hate is too great a burden to bear. It injures the hater more than it injures the hated. That's from the late Coretta Scott King. We talked about Donald Trump's immunity case, which we will be following. The Wendy Williams documentary, which was a sad documentary. Biden State of the Union address, that was good. We talked about the 95 best pictures in Oscar history. Tonight is the 96th Oscar. We played our game of Am I Tripping? Nobody was tripping today. Our little known Black history fact was Anna Julia Cooper. Our all hell no went to the daycare that saw this young boy savagely beaten and had paralysis. And we just gave it up to Courtney Solomon, who's the first 11-year-old Black girl to compete on a nationally televised rodeo. And with that being said, as always, we leave you with.
Thank you, everybody, for taking the time out of your busy schedules to hang out with us. And as always, in parting, we wish you love, peace, and knowledge to feed your soul.
Knowledge to feed your soul. Have a good time. We will see y'all next week. Peace.
Out.